Hey guys, as promised, the next episode of Let's Talk with the Saw, we are talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Episode 2. And this episode was freaking awesome.
Wow.
Just as action-packed as the first one. From beginning to end, it was...
Yeah, it was. It was very good.
I am...
More super soldiers. Wow.
Yeah. So, as we've found out, is the LAF, as they're called, this organization, they're all super soldiers.
Yep.
And somehow they've gotten their hands on super soldier serum. And, of course, Falcon and the Winter Soldier are trying to figure out where. And, of course...
Bucky's pissed.
Yeah. And, of course, we do get to meet the new Captain America, John Walker.
Which I want to get into with you after.
And his sidekick, Battlestar, as they call him. And so I know that, like as an example, when Sam and Bucky first get together, they argue. Bucky's not happy about the fact that Sam gave up the shield and all this stuff.
When they were sitting in the room with the doctor, I was dying laughing.
Yeah,
I really
so
was.
he agrees
closer.
He agrees to go. Well, he doesn't agree. He just says, "I'm coming with you."
Yeah,
When
yeah.
Sam's off to go do whatever,
And then jumps out of the plane.
So, they get on the plane and they're arguing, and he's like, "So what's the plan?" And he's like, "I have a plan." "You don't have a plan." "I got a plan." Yeah. It's like, "Okay, so no plan." And he jumps out, and then he realizes, he's like, "Oh, we're only 200 feet," and he jumps out. I don't know how he survived falling 200 feet. I mean, I know he's got super soldier serum in him. And I know he's got a cybernetic arm, but I don't know how he survived that fall. I don't even think Captain America would survive that fall. That's crazy.
Well, his arm was vibranium.
Vibranium, yeah. But that's not going to help him survive the fall. He didn't land on his arm.
No, but...
He landed on his back.
Yeah.
Which should have killed him. Anyway, but
that would have defeated the whole purpose.
Yeah.
So
they sneak into the spot where they're seeing these LAF, and of course it gets into with them, following them, hopping on the truck, and they get into a fight with these other super soldiers, and then of course
get the shit kicked out of them.
And then of course Captain America, the new Captain America, John Walker, shows up with his buddy, and they all get into this. They're all fighting these guys or whatever, and Sam sends Red Wing in, and the girl jumps up, grabs it, smashes it, and Bucky's like, "I always wanted to do that."
Yeah, that was so
when
funny.
He said that, I was like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, there's so
are there subtleties there that we're not?
Well, we'll get into a little bit in a little bit. We'll get into actually about John Walker and stuff. But so that's how that goes. That battle goes, and of course we get to see that part from the previews where Sam says to Bucky, he's like, "That little girl, kick your ass."
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And
She's
of
strong
course,
too.
we find out that they were stealing.
In English, what?
Vaccinations. Vaccines. They were stealing vaccines for something.
Vaccine.
Yeah. So we're going to find out now. Before this episode aired, of course, Disney Plus had a content warning up about it, about language and the content for violence, and of course, the fact that it might make some people a little uneasy based on the actual, the actual content of the story, because, of course, it's very close to what's happened in the real world, of course, with coronavirus and all this, and the fact that there's vaccines involved and all this.
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to say anything because
So
I'll
they
go
put
off
that
on a
up.
tangent.
And
I'll just shut up.
but it was so of course they have that, and of course we do get to see the new Captain America, John Walker, and Sam and Bucky, and they're and after that fight they're in the back of a Jeep driving along, and they're talking and stuff, and John's trying to get them to all work together, and Sam and Bucky are basically like, "Yeah, go."
Bucky's Steve's brother, right?
No, friend.
I thought he was his brother. Okay.
And so they're just basically like, "Yeah, no," and off they go. So they get back. They get back to North America, and as they're on their way back, Bucky says to Sam, he's like, "There's somebody you got to meet," and they go off and they go to Baltimore.
That guy with the super soldier.
And
Yeah.
they end up talking to Isaiah. And any of you guys out there that know, Isaiah is...
You knew this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He is
No surprise
he is
there.
a black man who was given super soldier serum after Captain America. And
that was in the Korean War? That they said they...
Oh, yeah, but he was given the super soldier serum long before that.
Okay, all right.
And he, of course, he ended up. They didn't. There's a history. There's a history there in the comics. If you follow along, you can.
Does he play a part later, Isaiah?
I have no idea if he's going to or not. I know that.
As far as the comics, did he have anything?
Yeah, he's a comic book character.
But does he play a major part in the whole thing?
In the comics? No. Well, no. It's just. I don't know the whole. Cause I never read Captain America comics, so I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I just know he's from the comic books, and I know that there's history there.
Okay,
and
sorry.
He actually was created after Captain America with the super soldier serum, and how they had managed to do it, I'm not sure. Whatever.
Okay.
I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but
all right.
Of course, he talks about how him and Bucky got into a fight in the Korean War. When Bucky was still the Winter Soldier and mind controlled by Hydra.
Yeah.
They leave because Isaiah doesn't want to help them or whatever, doesn't want to be involved. And as they're walking out, of course, they get into... they don't get into an argument, but they're getting into a very heated discussion. The police pull up and start, trying to harass Sam at first, and then they find out who he is, and then, of course,
Then they arrest Bucky.
Then they find out that Bucky missed his treatment with the doctor, so he gets arrested. Off they go to the police station or whatever, and next thing you know, of course,
Captain America saves the day. Yeah.
Sam and Bucky are sitting in the office with the doctor.
That was funny.
That was funny, and of course, that's when they have their staring contest. And they're getting closer with the
one leg
chairs.
over the other. It's just so funny.
Yeah. But the two of them together are just. They are really. They've been funny together since Civil War. So
they really play it well.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they do a good job. The chemistry really works there. So.
Yeah, it really does. And then, of course, they come out. They find out that, of course, Captain America got them both released, and
which they weren't happy about, but
So then they go out and they end up talking with him again, and. It gets to the point where they're like, we're not working with you because we're free agents and we have a little more leeway than you. And of course, at that point, John Walker says, "Then stay out of my way."
Right.
And that's kind of interesting because when I get into explaining about John Walker after, that'll key into what I told you earlier.
Okay. All right. I'm waiting.
Yeah. So. Bucky and Sam decide what they're going to do is they're going to go talk to Zemo and see what he knows about the super soldier serum, because Zemo knew about Siberia, which was where all those other super soldiers were when the Civil War happened. And so they're gonna talk to him, and that's gonna lead into them actually going around with Zemo for a little bit, I think, in the next episode.
Okay.
And of course, we do get to see these that young girl who's the one, I guess, in charge of that little cell of the LAF.
Yeah, she's really strong, that one.
Yeah, well, she's got super soldier.
Yeah, I know, but she's just saying.
But you can see she gets a text message saying, "You took something from me, and I'm going to kill you," or whatever. So. Kind of wondering who that's going to turn out to be, and how.
But even at that, they had to get on the plane in a real hurry, so they had the other guy that.
So one of them ended up getting shot.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of the fact that it's like, you can have super soldier and serum all you want, but he ain't going to do anything against bullets.
That's right. That's what it turns into. Yeah. So.
But yeah,
one of them bites the dust. Boom. Boom.
Yep.
boom.
So it's literally just it's action packed from the get go, and it really
It's a great. I love it.
It really doesn't let you go. I thought the part when they were walking to Isaiah's house was kind of funny when the little kid goes, "Hey, it's Black Falcon." And he goes, "No, it's just Falcon."
Yeah.
And he goes, "My daddy told me it was Black Falcon." And he's like, "Why? Because I'm black?"
Yeah. Are you a black kid?
And he's like, "Well, why? Are you black kid?" And the other kid laughs.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. Are you black kid?
Yeah. It was perfect. Really.
Yeah, it was so funny. Yeah. But it's really good. And I am just super excited for the next one. It just seems like they're over too quick. And I mean, each one has been like 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it seems like they're just over way too quick.
Yep. Yeah, you get through them in a hurry because you get into it and it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us.
What? I'm just kidding you. No. So John Walker, in the comics, everybody who knows anything about the comics probably recognizes him as actually U.S. agent. And in the comics, he did replace Captain America for a while as Captain America. And when Captain America came back, he became U.S. agent. And as I've said before on the show, U.S. agent John Walker, Captain America, whatever you want to call him right now, he's in the comics, he's more arrogant than Captain America. He's more of a loose cannon than Captain America. But at the same time, he's more easily controlled by the government and what they want done. And we can kind of see that in the show already.
Yeah, well, you can see
because you can see that he's like, okay, he's doing whatever the government's telling him. He does say that he wants to be the best Captain America he can be and all this stuff. And I get that. And I get that he probably does want to do that. But at the same time,
he's a showboat.
It is. And when it comes to Captain America is more than just a mantle. Like Steve Rogers had a thing about him, and like I've said before, he's Marvel's version of Superman, not in powers wise, but in
pizzazz,
right from wrong, doing this and doing that, and the Boy Scout thing, like.
And he had chutzpah.
Like Captain America is a. Now, I mean, we're not American. But Captain America is one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and it's because he always does what he thinks is right. Always. He follows his gut, and he explains it very clearly in Civil War to Tony.
Yeah.
He says to him at one point, he says, when I see a situation going sideways, I can't just stand by and ignore it.
Right.
I have to do what I think is right. And that's what makes Captain America so good. And when you look at the comics, okay, the original Civil War comic, which was what the movie was based on, it was over the Superhuman Registration Act. So basically what happened is, in the comic books, the New Warriors, which is a younger team of superheroes, they're all like late teenagers, early 20s, they were fighting some supervillains. And in the process, what happened is there was an explosion and a bunch of school children ended up getting killed. So the government said, if you want to be a superhero, you have to register with the government. And we have to know everything about you, your secret identity, blah, 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 your powers, all this stuff, which is basically what they decided to do with the Sokovia Accords.
Right.
Based on the fact that when Wanda shot the stuff up in the air and accidentally blew up in that building and it killed a bunch of innocent people that way. It's the same concept, just done a little differently. Well, Captain America in the comics stood up and said, no, that's not right. If we're registered by the government, then they get to know it, that puts too many people in danger, like because of secret identities and this and that. And it just does too much. And the same thing with Civil War in the movies. He didn't want to do that because he felt that it restricted them too much from being able to go where they needed to be to do the right thing.
And do what they needed to do. Yes, exactly.
And now, in the comic books, of course, Iron Man sided with the government. and Captain America didn't.
Right.
And he created the Secret Avengers, which is what he did in the movie, which was him, Falcon, Wanda, and Black Widow. They went off and they did their thing.
That's right.
As the Secret Avengers. And there's parallels between the comics and stuff. So a lot of people go, well, it doesn't follow the comic. Well, no, it doesn't. But it's the same
close.
Basic concept is there in both. And, of course, at the end, what ended up happening at the end of Civil War in the comics was Captain America finally surrendered to Iron Man and claimed that he was wrong, and then he got shot and he was killed, supposedly.
Yeah.
Now, in the movies, that didn't happen,
Nope.
but that parallel is still there. And one of the things about Captain America, and this is one of the things that Joe Quesada got wrong as the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, is he was the one who claimed that, well, the reason that it went that way in the comics was because Captain America was wrong. And, of course, that blew up in his face because all the fans were like, Captain America is not the wrong one. Iron Man is.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, like it was, but Joe Quesada's an idiot. He just is. He should have stayed being an artist because as an editor-in-chief and having any opinion on anything else, he's wrong. Captain America
Why
wasn't
don't you
wrong.
tell us what you really think?
And again, it was the same thing. Like I had a hard time when Civil War came out in the theaters. I had a hard time choosing between which side because Iron Man's my favorite character in the movies. And Captain America, I had a hard time choosing because he's my second favorite. And at the same time, I could see both sides in the movies. And the movies did a better job of it than the comic books did. Because Iron Man's opinion was just sign the thing. We'll still be the Avengers. It keeps us together. We can still do good. We can still whatever. And in a roundabout way, Iron Man still ended up disobeying Secretary Ross, because he wasn't General Ross, but Secretary Ross. He still ended up doing that by, doing what he had to do.
He was just trying to appease them and get rid of them. That's what he was trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that was a better way to do it. And had the comics done it in a way like that, where it was like Iron Man really wasn't trying to
That's right. He was
be
just
hardcore, but no, you got to sign him, blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
So
It was just, get over with.
So this way, to me, the movies did it better. But I had a hard time siding with who I want to side with because, again, Captain America, I knew Captain America was right. He was right. And no, the Avengers need to stay separate. They need to be their own thing and do their own, because that way they can go and do what they need to do. And John Walker, so getting back to the topic now that I've explained the background, John Walker is one of those guys who the government put him in as Captain America.
Because they could control him.
Because they can control him.
Right.
So if he had been Captain America when the Sokovia Accords came in, he would have just signed them.
That's right.
Because that's what he's
That's
there.
what he was
he's there.
yeah.
So
that's right.
he can be controlled by the government. And
He's
I
their
think,
puppet in a way,
yes.
right? Yeah.
And as we go through Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's, I believe, what we're going to see is how John Walker does what the government tells him because he's basically their puppet to do it. Because he's got no super soldier serum. He's just an army guy who's incredibly well-trained and incredibly fit and, whatever.
But he's
not Captain America, and he never will be. I think that's why, because if you guys have noticed from the previews, we do see Sam practicing later on with the shield.
Yep,
He's throwing it.
Yep.
So at some point, we do know Sam's going to get the shield back. And I believe what we're going to see is by the end of this, Sam is going to take up the mantle of Captain America. And he's going to then embody what Steve wanted and why
that's why Steve gave him the thing.
That's why Steve gave him the shield to begin with, is because he knew in some way.
Right.
And Bucky even explains it to him. He's like,
Steve
Steve saw something in you, and that's why he gave it to you.
And that's why he's mad at him that he gave it away.
And that's why he's mad at him that he gave it away. And I understood Falcon's reason for giving it up because, again, he didn't know the government was just going to turn around and give it to somebody else.
No, he didn't know.
But he thought he was doing the right thing because he was like, he didn't feel he could live up to what Steve did. And I think by the end of the show, we're going to see a realization in Sam
that he
may not be able to be Steve, but
you don't want to be Steve.
But he can try to embody Steve's ideals as best as he can to keep that mantle of what Captain America should be.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if that's how they end it, because Sam's got that same good heart that Steve does. He's got those same ideals. He's got that, that's why they became friends. That's why he stood by him. So I think it will be a good fit. And I think it'll be quite interesting to see him take up the mantle of Captain America if they do. And I would be disappointed if this show ended without him being Captain America. I really would. Because I don't think it should go to Bucky, because I know in the comics at one point Bucky was Captain America for a while. But to me, it just makes more sense to have it be Falcon. And
I guess we're going to see.
I'm gonna put a picture right here of Falcon as Captain America and still Falcon at the same time. So have a look at that. And if you haven't seen the comics, that's what it looks like. And it's pretty cool. It's a really neat photo, and it's a really neat,
Where'd you get that one?
Oh, they're online. There's all kinds of them.
Oh, okay.
But it's really, really, really cool to see how that even if they decide to do it in the Marvel Universe, he can, like they did in the comics, he still stayed Falcon with the wings and whatever.
Right. But he was also
Captain America carrying the shield at the same time.
Right. They amalgamate them to give it.
And I think that would be really cool. And plus, I know with this whole, the way the world is right now, and of course with this whole PC baloney and everything being this and that and whatever.
Start.
But at the same time, all the young kids who were looking up to Captain America over the last decade, right? And seeing Chris Evans play Steve Rogers, it was like all the little boys could be like, oh, cool, I can look up to Captain America or whatever. And then now, if they make it Falcon, then all the young African American boys can look and go, oh, cool, they got an African American Captain America, and I can that to me I think is cool, and it's fine because it follows the comics. B, it's somebody who embodies it well. I think it would do really, really good. And we all know tongue-tied there. Statistics of what generally happens when young boys don't have a father figure to look up to, or someone who's that's a sad reality. That's a sad reality. And Sam Wilson as Captain America would be a good role model for young African American boys to look up to, even young Asian boys and young white boys, and because he embodies the same thing Captain America does, and I think that would be really good. But at the same time, I think it would be good for the African American community to have that representation on the screen. They've had some wonderful other superheroes, like they've had Don Cheadle as War Machine, and they have had Sam as Anthony Mackie as Falcon, and they did have Chadwick as Black Panther. Mm-hmm. But this is a very, when you slap that mantle of Captain America, who's 99% of the time been white, and you slap that mantle on a black man, and you say, hey, now this guy is Captain America, and I just think it's really nice for them to do for the kids. So
I could agree with that.
And I think and Anthony Mackie's a fantastic actor.
Oh, awesome actor.
And him and Sebastian Stan have wonderful chemistry on screen.
That's true.
And they play the parts so well. They interact together so well. And I'm just, I'm really happy that they're doing it. And this show is phenomenal. I'm really excited about the next episode because I can't wait to see what they're going to do. I just can't. Now, what did you think?
Basically, if I had to say anything, I'd have to repeat what you said. It was too fast. I got into it and it was gone.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
It was like, oh, Jesus, it's over? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I was just so into it.
So I think I'm gonna give a prediction now because we're 2 episodes in and there's only 4 more to go.
All right, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna give a prediction and I'm gonna see.
Do you want a drum roll?
We're gonna see how close I am to being right. So
Okay.
again, I think by the end we're gonna see Falcon take over as Captain America.
Okay, you said that.
Okay.
Do you have another one?
Yep.
Go ahead.
I think.
Oh, hold on. Drum roll.
I
There it
think
is.
what
Okay,
we're
go.
I think what we're gonna see is we're gonna see John Walker most likely die. I think
Oh,
he's
really?
going to die. I think he's gonna die.
Okay.
Because I think that's how Sam's gonna end up with the shield. I think he's gonna die. I think that we are going to see, and this is only because of rumors I've heard, I think we're going to definitely see the introduction of mutants finally into the MCU. I think that they're actually going to introduce mutants. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to see.
Okay.
I also think that what we're going to see is probably a foundation that's going to be in the very, very early stages of what we're going to see as the team for the next Avengers. So I'm pretty sure what we're going to see is when
Wow.
they do Avengers 5, whenever that does come out,
This will be the precursor.
I
leading
believe
up
this
to
is
it.
where we're going to really start to see the beginnings of that through this one.
All right, let's see how accurate you are.
Yeah. So that said, there are a couple of things I do, and now that we're done talking about that, but well, actually, before we do, write your comments below. Let us know
Yes.
what you think of the show.
Where
You
you're
know,
at with
where
it
you're
so
at.
far.
Can you
Yep.
see all these things that I've mentioned, the comparisons? But a couple of things I want to mention is Vision is going to be getting his own Disney Plus show.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're going to follow up on White Vision.
Wow. Okay.
So we are going to see that. I don't know when, but we are going to see that I'm almost positive that's going to happen now. There's a very strong rumor that that's happening. Black Widow is coming out in July now instead of May. It was going to come out in May in theaters. Now it's going to come out in July, but it's going to be simultaneous release on Disney Plus and in the movie theaters. It's going to cost extra on Disney Plus to do like they did with Mulan. You're going to have to pay to get it, but it'll be available on Disney Plus the same day it goes in the theaters. So that will be
Wow.
cool. I'm looking forward to that because I am itching to see the next Black Widow. Like, I'm just itching to see that movie because, I mean, it was what was supposed to kick off Phase 4. So, and that didn't happen. But, and unfortunately, it's at the point now where I don't think Marvel can wait any longer. They have to release it. It's their own success is leading to the fact that they need to release that movie. It has to come out because there's just too much. Anyway, I think that we're going to see some connection probably between Black Widow and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think what we're going to find is when we watch Black Widow, when that comes out in July, we're going to see, that's how that connects to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Because it was supposed to be Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision. That was how it was supposed to be released.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Okay.
been the complete opposite
Yeah.
of that. It went
They went
WandaVision,
up- yeah.
Falcon, and now Black Widow. So,
Turned it right around.
yeah, and that's caused adjustments in the stories of all 3 of those that they had to redo.
yeah.
So, I'm just wondering if we're going to see that. So, anyway. Also, don't forget our other episode went up today with Pennyworth, season 2, episode 7. So check that out. And Pennyworth, episode 8 will be up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, check out our other channels. We do have links to them under the channels tab.
And,
And,
more
yeah.
things in the works.
Lots of things in the works. Please check us out on superlativeradio.com.
Yep.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Stay healthy.